Center ourselves, so let's close our eyes. Let's take a big breath. And we let it out. Again, let's take another big breath. And we let it out. Let's take another big breath. And we let it out. And the next breath, we take it to our heart. Feel your heart. And let it out. Again, let's take another big breath and take it to your chest. And we let it out. The next breath, we take it to our lungs. We let it out. The next breath, we take it to our brain. And we let it out. And the next breath, we take it to our pineal gland. Feel your pineal gland before you let it out. Now we're going to take it to our whole head. And we let it out. And now with our eyes open, we're going to call ourselves to be here. I am here, here I am. I am here, here I am. I am here, here I am. I'm going to give an explanation. I believe I did it before. If not, here it is again. Why is important that I am here, here I am, before we start sharing our homeworks. Because many times when we are very distracted, when we are in with many problems or many issues, problems of the daily life and so forth, we can tend to get out our conscience from our body. And we need to bring back, the only way that we can heal, learn, and grow and expand our conscience is to bring back our conscience to our body. So that's why it is important to call ourselves back. And calling ourselves back is very simple. It's like this one, I am here, here I am. If something is too complicated, it is not true. And it's very, very simple. And that's why we're calling ourselves here. Okay. And okay, I'm going to start first with Christine. How do you feel your homework?
So I connected with my crystal. I didn't get out in nature to connect with anything else. My kids got the stomach bug all week, and then I had the stomach bug, and then just life. And so I didn't get to get out in nature besides in my backyard. But I did connect with my celestite, which is one of my favorite crystals. This one is my favorite one. And when I first bought this one, I already felt it calling me. I felt this. Can you hear me?
Yes, but can you show it to us? Oh, okay.
What's this one right here? Is this celestite. And I think this one, I think she said it came from Argentina or something. It's definitely not from this country, but it's one of my favorites. And I bought a big, huge pink quartz with it. And the feeling, I remember that day I was so anxious. And we went into this crystal shop, and when I made contact with it, I'm like, what is right here? It feels so amazing. And then when I picked them up, I was like, oh, this feels so good. And so that's how I feel with it, especially holding it right now. I think I need it. I haven't even touched it all day, but actually trying to connect with it and sit down and set that intention that I'm going to connect with it. I started to hear my heartbeat in my left ear. And I don't know, maybe if you could tell me if you know the difference between, if there's a difference between hearing the heartbeat in your left and right, because I hear it mostly in my right. I'm sorry, my left.
I know many people, many healers, and I have seen these videos and so forth that they say, I don't agree with this. I'm just going to repeat what they say.
Mm-hmm.
That in the right side are your angels, and in your left side are your guides. It's the
Oh, it's the same.
it's the same, because I have sometimes my guides dictating me poetry in my right, and I can feel in my back an angel, and I'm talking with the left also with an ancestor. So in reality, it doesn't matter what side, but when
Mm-hmm.
your ear is ringing or your hairs are getting up, the chills.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, it is depending on our gifts, because more people can feel them, more people can hear them or see them or sense, or just the knowing that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
All are different, and that doesn't minimize one of the other gifts, because at the end, they're all our gifts, and they're
Yeah.
beautiful, and they come from source, and we can develop and increase also other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is when they're doing the connection.
That we're hearing that in the
Yes,
heartbeat
because
in it.
when they get close, you can feel the love, so you can feel it in our heart. When we're opening the heart chakra, that I believe that you already, we have some Reiki masters here and so forth. So, and just a reminder for all the Reikis that we have here, when you're opening your heart chakra, at the beginning it kind of hurts. It gives you like a rhythm. Sometimes it's more accelerated, sometimes it's less accelerated, and so forth. Later on, when our body gets level, it stop hurting, it stop
Mm-hmm.
in that expansion. Later on, you understand when you're channeling, when you're talking to your guides, you feel them immediately in your heart. Those
Mm-hmm.
tales that we're going to be talking more today about how to release the fears, because that has to do with that. So that was a great question, even for today class. It was just perfect, Chris.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. And so yes, I heard the heartbeat in my ear, and so what I was doing is I started envisioning my palm chakras opening up. And it was just, sorry, I'm reading my notes because I did this a few days ago, and the energy of the celestine moving up through my palms. Okay. So this one, it's connected to the upper chakras. So your throat chakra, your third eye, and your crown. And as I was holding it, I started to feel the heartbeat in my ear, and then I thought maybe I was possibly feeling or sensing a taller being. And this crystal specifically, as I've heard, that is one that you want to have near you if you do spiritual work, because it does connect you with the higher realms. And so this one, I envisioned that I was opening up my palm chakras, and I was envisioning like light blue, glittery light just flowing in from the crystal and going up my arms and up here. And then I started burping. And so I felt like that was my connection. Like I was expecting like, oh, I didn't get to get out in nature and talk with the trees or anything that I actually thought I wanted to do. And I felt like maybe I didn't do enough. And
You actually
but
did.
that was my little connection.
You
Hmm?
did a great job actually connecting with the stomach. The only part I did not like is that you intellectualize it. That's something that we have to learn with, to remove our intellectual in there. It's like, oh, let me Google this, let me Google that, and let me search for that. Because when you're channeling, that it is gonna take you out of believing in yourself.
Mhm.
So
That makes a lot of
but
sense.
you did all that and feeling in your throat and so forth. That's what I wanted to start waking up. But when you start Googling and so forth, then you can. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but when you start channeling, it's like you're gonna find, am I psychotic or anything like that? Because hey, you're listening voices.
Mhm.
So
Or yes.
that is gonna put you a stop in a way how you are gonna be developing your channeling. So trust in what you're feeling, trust the connection or whatever message, the stone or the tree or whatever it was. Trust
Mhm.
it. Okay.
Okay. Okay, yes. Instead of like, because I have been Googling, or I have Googled in the past, left ear, right ear, the meaning, and I'm like, well, I was feeling this way, but Google's telling me that it was this.
That's why I say you're intellectualizing it.
I do. Yes.
You're gonna gain more trust. So just try to the next time remove Google from there. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Going the other side, Anna. You're in mute, love.
Mhm.
You're still in mute. There.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I wasn't as thorough. I didn't do my homework so good. Right away, I picked out this crystal. I don't have that many crystals, but I have a few. And this one I got from Pati's house because she has a collection of crystals and she sells them. And I liked it. It called me when I got it. And I really like the color sky blue
Nice.
and the pattern.
Celestite.
Monday? Yeah.
Celestite. I think so.
So
I'm looking the names,
yeah.
but this one I remember because they have the celestite, I believe, is the one that connects you with angels. And it's blue, light blue.
Well, I picked it from her collection, and on both sides it's different. And one of the things I liked on this side, it has like copper color specks. But on this side, what I thought was this little spiral. So that's what I liked. And so I've been carrying it around, not really sitting down to connect with it, just carrying it around, looking at it, touching it. And earlier I went outside and I had it with me and I looked at it in the sun and oh my God, I saw so many other things that I had not ever noticed that you can't tell from in here. Different layers. That spiral is not really a spiral, it's the different layers. And then, but it looks like a spiral on the top. And it has a clear, anyhow, I just really observed it more than connect with it and fascinated. They fascinate me looking at them.
Okay. As a favor, you still have the homework to do. Okay. You need to do that
I
homework.
should sit down and meditate with it or
Yes. Try to talk with it because it will talk to you back. It will have to make you sensations in your body, and you can't even listen and even can have a conversation with it. Ask, what is the work that I have to do with you? Okay. And it will answer you back. And it will tell you why you were attracted when you grab it from the house of Patty. Because she had many and you choose that one.
A lot. Yeah.
So, but you choose that one and you ask why. When you go to a store and you get a stone, the quartz and the crystals, they choose you. You don't choose them. It's like a cat. And you can bring the cat to your house, but usually when the cats actually stay with you and more loving are the ones that choose you. The same applies for the stones, the quartz and crystals and all that. So it called you. So that's why you grab it.
All right. And I like touching it. I like rubbing it.
Oh, now you still have that homework to do.
All right.
Great observation, but to go a little bit, stretch ourselves a little bit.
I get into looking at the patterns and stuff. This is another one I got from Pati's house that called me also.
Yeah, carnelian. It's great for the root chakra.
It's got beautiful patterns. I like the patterns. I like how it looks. All right.
Okay.
Gonna
Now,
talk to you soon.
thanks, Anita. A ver,
So
Chris,
mine,
you wanna come
oh,
over here
sure.
soon?
actually did mine a little late last night. Before I went to sleep, I have this amethyst necklace that I wear, and it's a heart shape and it's crystal. So I like took it off of the thing and I was holding it. And I did feel a lot of healing energy when I was holding it. And like releasing of of emotional stuff.
The amethyst, I know it helps a lot in transformation.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say, that I also felt like a greater purpose, like something bigger than what I can see in the moment. That was the feeling that I got. I didn't like hear a name or anything like that with the crystal, but I felt that like there's a greater purpose. It's bigger than like what we can see. It's bigger. And yeah, and then I connected with the papaya tree, my papaya tree that I love.
Yeah.
That was the other part of it. I went in the back and it was hot, so I didn't stay like a whole lot of time back there. But I was just like more like talking to her and telling her, like, she was a little seed that I spit out, and she has like a big trunk now, and she's like big. And I was just pretty much like sharing with her. Her name's Pepita. Pepita la papaya tree. I was just sharing with her like how much growth she's done, and it was just more like me talking with her. And
Did he talk to you back?
I felt comfort, but I didn't like hear anything. But I did feel like she was grateful for me. That was the feeling that I got. I don't know if that's considered like her talking back, but like she was grateful that I helped her get to that place.
That's
So
good.
yeah, that was the
So,
two.
maybe at the beginning you don't listen. We don't hear when they're calling us back, because that is part of believing more in ourselves. So we can distinguish those things. It is fine. So continue doing that.
Okay.
Continue contacting until you start listening.
Listening to what she has for me.
Mhm. Because they will call you back. They will
Yeah.
talk to you back.
And she has a lot of flowers, so I was just like admiring her, like a lot of blossoms. So she's gonna give a lot of papayas. So I was like, wow, it's amazing to see, because she was like really small, and
Only grow.
she's está bien grandota.
But that's one way they communicate through
Yeah.
emotions. That's one way too.
Yes, and it kind of was like I felt like the amethyst feeling and the tree connecting went in sync with what I was going through. Like,
That is good.
yeah.
That is good. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Brenda.
Alrighty. So I started talking to my Sabine. Well, I'm like, oh my gosh, I may be able to do telepathy with my dog. But then I realized my dog lo mandé para la otra casa. So I'm like, okay, so it was not meant for me to talk to my dog. So I had this huge Sabino tree. So it's beautiful, it's huge tree. So I sat there and I felt this beautiful energy, like poof, like beautiful wave energy. Felt so good. So I asked, okay, what's your name? And what's your name? And I it's not like it's weird. It's not like I hear it comes to my mind. Does that make sense? It comes to my mind and it says Henry, but then something was saying, no, it's not Henry. It's not Henry. I'm like, Henry is your name. Now what I say, is your name Henry? And something, it's like a picture, and it was like an X, like images and thing was coming like X. It's X. I'm like, what is this X? What is she? What they're trying X? So And I'm like, and then it came to me, Sindri. The name was Sindri, the tree. So I'm like, Sindri's your tree. And it's weird because, and I shouldn't say weird. I already done this homework before in the past, but I would forget the names of the tree. So, and this time, I go there and sit down, and no, it's like, so, okay, your name is Sindri. And then I didn't ask. I did been asking, what's my message? What's my message? I didn't get nothing. And I did feel today it was something beautiful. After doing the Akasha records with you, and what my grandmother told me what to do to that space to sweep, I did that. I didn't want to do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, I don't want to sleep. I don't want to sleep this place. So, and then I'm walking and I felt something like, you got to do it. I'll say, it was so like an assisting thing, even though I didn't want to do it, but
That was your
something,
grandmother.
yeah, like exigiéndome. I'm like, fine. So it was weird because I grabbed rudas. I have a lot of root trees, ruda bastante. So I cut it. I asked permission, and I was gonna grab romero, and the romero said, "No, you're not taking me. You're only taking ruda." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I left it there. I'm sorry, I won't touch you. So I didn't get that. So I grabbed the ruda, and there was a stick there, which it used to be a mop, but I don't know why it was there, but it was there. I grabbed it. I grabbed the ruda, I cut it, and I did like a witch broom. I'm like, fine. So I started sweeping out. And after when I did that, I felt like, whew, a release, like limpia, or it felt beautiful energy. I'm like, oh, now I know why my grandma wanted me to do that.
Yes, to everybody, in the Akashic reading they did to Brenda, her grandmother told her to do that. In a space that she was needing to clear it. And she told her even what kind of broom to use and everything. And that's why she was doing that.
And so after that, I go back to my Sindri tree, ¿verdad? I even got her a bench. After that, I'm like, I saw the bench. I got her and put a bench right there by the Sabina tree. But there's like I'm going to take a picture. It's like a little curve where it's perfect for me to sit there and then to lay down. So I'm there, and I'm like, and I asked her, what am I doing here? What's my message? And it was just like, I felt like, just relax, rest, take your time, like just rest. Like they want me to like rest myself, right? Like I need rest. And then out of nowhere, the wind was blowing, and it was just there. I'm like, there's no wind over there. There's no wind over there. It was just me. Like she was blowing so much wind for me, like to purify. They were purifying me. They were, I feel like they were healing me. They were healing me. And today I feel better. I did feel emotional. I had some emotion, and I cried. I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying, but I think I'm releasing whatever I had here of my dad. So that's what I felt. Pero his name is Sindri, and there's some strong energy. And when I'm there, I feel the wave of the energy coming through. So that was my experience. I don't know if I keep on saying it.
That was a great homework that you did. Because you start getting to feel the channeling, start sensing your body, and at the same time surrendering to what they are asking you to do.
Yes.
So that was great work, Brenda.
Okay,
great work. Because when we start working in the telepathy and things like that, you already start opening it up. That's why this exercise that I'm putting you to connect to the crystal, to nature, and so forth, it is important because we're going to be practicing between all of us, telepathy. Okay. But this is a big one. What is help us to do it with people that we're physical in the 3D, us. Okay. It is to get confirmations. Okay. Because or else that is going to help us to not doubt ourselves, what we're listening or hearing or feeling. Okay. All right, then that makes sense now, because I wasn't sure what was happening. I felt the rush of the energy in the air where they were purifying. It was weird because I'm like, okay, where this air? No, I get anywhere. It's just right there I was at. So I'm like, okay, you're healing me. So I should let go. And I also was listening to myself more, but it's too noisy. It was like a lot of static and noisy. It was so much for me. So I'm like, okay, I gotta just have to do it, take it slow. I let go, okay, listen, and I just listen to what they want me to listen.
but I feel it was too loud.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I need to practice. I think
You're going to
it's,
learn different techniques when we go into the telepathy and channeling and so forth, different techniques, because all of them want to talk at the same time.
okay. Well, I didn't hear no voices. It was just so loud, like less. What I did, I don't know if this makes sense, but I noticed at night, I noticed that I heard a lot of the chicharras. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no chicharras here. Why am I'm listening to like I'm outside. I'm listening like I'm at the galaxy. It was like I wasn't scared. It was dark, but it wasn't scary. It was like I was outside. I was hearing the night. If that makes sense.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I was hearing. And that was it. So,
Remember that since your intention, since you sign up for this class, you said your intention, I want to learn channeling.
yes.
And since that moment, things are starting to happen, even before the class started.
Okay.
So, yes,
Makes sense.
more woo-woo stuff, like other people call it, is going to be happening to your lives. And it's unavoidable.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not afraid anymore. I noticed that I don't have that fear anymore, and I'm happy for that. But thank you.
Okay, Alina, it's your turn.
There, you can say hi.
Hi, my loves.
Hello.
Okay. I love you guys. Bye. Have fun. Oh, close the door, greasy. Sorry. So it's been a hell of a week and weekend. So I kind of just did mine when I went walking on Monday. I went walking, and it's funny because Simba talks to me. Like I can hear him. Like he doesn't talk, but I know what he's saying to me.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
only-
Or what?
So I went for a walk, and I was watching Simba, which is Liz's dog, and he's a Ridgeback, and he's and until right now, when Brenda was talking, I was like, yeah, I know what you mean, because it is loud. It's always loud, and especially now. And I don't know if that's like my running emotions. It's a lot of stuff. I feel like I'm like, you know, I'm spinning plates in the air, several of them. But when I went walking with Simba, I took him out and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a good walk. And I walked and I could hear him like pulling on me, and I was joking around with him because he wanted to cross the street, and it was a very busy street. And I was like, we can't cross the street. And I was telling him in my head, I'm like, this is not the way I want to go, bro. Is this the way you want to go? But now I know it's because there's food across the street. But anyway, but he was like pulling me and telling me to take him. And then we both like stood there. I'm like, I'm not crossing the street, and you can't just cross. So we came this way, and he was done. Like right away, he's like, take me back home. So he came up. I'm like, well, I want to keep walking. So I went for a walk. I know this is getting really winded. And in my walk, I was very emotional. And I was not here. Like my body was walking. I don't know. And Chris can confirm, you can walk with your eyes closed and you kind of know you could feel yourself. So I was walking with my eyes open, but I was not there.
You
And
got
I
out.
almost ate it. Yeah. I almost ate it. Like my body, like I got scared because I came back in. And on the second round, there's a park and there's these huge, beautiful trees. And I'm like, oh, homework. That's what I'm like, homework. I was like, you're like, and I went and I stood by the tree and I touched them, and I was like standing there and I was like, will you talk to me? Like, I'm like, would you speak with me? And I can make trees will respond. I've had that. They'll come. Plants will like they come to me if I ask them, like teach bear how to do it. Like you can talk to them. They dance with me. But this one, I've never really asked their name. That's not something I've done, which was new for me, which I thought was, I'm like, a ver qué me dice. And I had that same thing. Like all these things were coming to my head, and I was like, like, what's your name? Tell me your name. Would you tell me your name? And like I received a yes, but I was like, instantly it was like Aries. And I'm like, and then when I'm like Aries, and he's like instantly they're like, no, that's not it. Like I pronounced it wrong. I'm like out, and I'm like, okay, Aries, got it. You're Aries. And it's funny because last night I went walking with Liz, and it was dark, and all these trees are there, right? I'm like, mira, they are Aries. It's not a he. It's they. Like the she.
It's a collective.
Yeah, it's a
That's
collective.
a very good observation.
Yeah.
Because many beings that we're going to be contacting or connecting, including ourselves, one part of, like when, not the Pleiades, but like the angelical.
Mhm.
Yes, you can get connected to Archangel or Miguel but many times they talk in collective.
Mhm.
And that's a great observation, because you're going to encounter sometimes that they're going to tell you is we,
Mhm.
but one is the speaker, but they're talking through all the collective. Human beings, we live in the duality and vision, so we don't do that, even if we can feel each other.
Mhm.
But everybody speak by their own self.
Right.
But higher beings from the 6 up, they are collectives.
Mm. Yeah, he like I keep saying he, and I feel like I'm in trouble every time I say that. But they were Aries, and that night, last night when I went walking with Liz, it was late. I'm like, they are Aries. There's Aries, and she was like, ay, ahí está Juan, and I don't know what. I'm like, no, and she's like, and it's so funny because she thinks she's not hearing her, but I am not kidding. As soon as she pointed and she goes, ella es Florencia, like instantly I'm like, no, it's Florence. She told her name. And I'm like, actually, it's Florence. And we both heard it at the same time, just to like show that they're talking to you too. And she laughed, and we just, we kept walking. But it's one of those things, and I'm like, sister, te habló, because I heard it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Like it was like, no, like, and then she's like, ahí está Florence, like instantly, like Florencia. I'm like, actually, it's Florence, not Florencia. And we laughed, and like we walked, and I didn't connect to a crystal. I wear them all the time. I don't know why. There's something there that's stopping me. And I think it's because I feel like if I have something, that I'm gonna like open the floodgate. And I think I've been talking to you about this. Like it's so right there. Like if I touch a crystal, or if I make an intention and I meditate, but like all the plants talk to me in this house for some reason, including Simba talks to me all the time, and he'll sit there and he complains. I'm like, you're such a complainer, but you have like the cushiest life ever. You don't feed. He's like, you don't feed me fast enough. But I did not connect with a crystal. I wear them. I'm wearing turquoise. But I didn't set out. And I know exactly what you mean, that they choose you. And when I've been crystal shopping, even with like Chris or whatever, I'm like, let them, you'll know cuál es tuya, because they do. This kind of like pops out at you.
Yes.
Yeah. And but I haven't had like a conversation, and I have tons of them.
But this was a great beginning for you all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great beginning, and that this is a homework that even if we have other homeworks, try to continue with this one, because when we're starting channeling, when we start working with telepathy, when we start doing channeling, etc., light language, etc., all those kind of stuff,
Mhm,
This is going to be very, very helpful for you all.
mhm,
So start doing that, because when we even have the class of telepathy,
mm.
we're just going to have basically confirmations like the one that you had with Liz. Like, hey, it's calling you, because there were two people, humans,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
they
I'm
were
like,
listening at the same time.
mhm,
So that it was a big confirmation. Yes, we're listening.
mhm. I keep hearing Yoda right now, and it's not a plant.
Oh, your guides are also talking to you. Chris, Christine, you wanted to say something.
I didn't want to say anything. It's just I'm frozen on my end, so I'm looking at Alina's children still.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't see anybody. So I've just been
Um,
trying to fix it, and I don't know why it's doing that, but I can't see anyone right now.
Oh,
so sometimes if you turn off your video and
yeah.
turn it back on, it helps. Or when you're talking, turn off your video. Or like if somebody's talking, like might not be enough bandwidth, like in your apartment, because when you were talking at the beginning, you froze.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is me. So let me try just turning off my video. And
Or sometimes I have classes, believe me, when everybody's not with camera, only with voice, because the bandage.
yes, I mean it doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, can y'all see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone can see me? Okay. I
Yeah.
can't see anybody, but I'm listening though.
Okay.
I also noticed this week that my finger starts to like do this, and it happened, remember when we were here? A lot.
Everybody's gonna start receiving in different ways confirmations. Observe them. You're gonna feel more hearing the more the ears or your body, or you're gonna feel like someone is rubbing you in your leg. That happens to me.
Yes,
Or the
I felt
burping.
my hand was going like something was pinching me here. I'm like, what's going on? Like there was a pinch here, like pinch, 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 pinch. Okay. I'm like, what's going on with my hand?
Every,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
oh, and everybody's different. We all are different. There is no cookie cutter in this one. So we all have different missions, and like we have different missions, we have different gifts, some more developed than the other ones. That doesn't mean that we cannot develop the other ones, but we are different. So how we're gonna communicate with you, how they're gonna be telling you, hey, I am here. It is gonna be very different for everybody, and some of us are gonna be similar.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just
I had that. I'm sorry. I had a similar situation which you're talking about before I started, because I had messaged you saying that I didn't think I was going to be able to come to the class today just because of the way I was feeling and everything. And but I was getting a vibration in my right leg, in my calf, which is where one of the areas where I receive information. And it started vibrating like, get up and get it ready. And like, you're going to be fine. You need this. And it was just vibrating. And I was like, okay, I'm going.
but I'm glad. Observe your bodies, feel your bodies. Where do you feel it? Because that is going to be very, very important when you start actually receiving the messages. You say, oh, they wanted to talk to me, or they're telling me to say this, or whatever, when we start channeling. So observe your body. Where do you feel it? How do you feel it? So in the beginning, when I started consciously channeling, I started burping a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, I stopped drinking even sodas, because I felt every time I start burping, it's like the message coming, and they're here. And it was very uncomfortable until I tell them, stop making me burp in front of my clients, please, because this is uncomfortable. I don't like to start. And now you're making me burp every time I have a client and I'm going to give a message. And in every appointment, I'm burping. And this is very uncomfortable. And I'm not drinking sodas because I don't want to burp. So it is very uncomfortable. And they change it. And, but it took a while, but it was a several, like 8 months, 9 months that I was burping and burping and burping in front of my class. Like, oh my God, this is so horrible. So everybody's going to have it different, and you can talk to them and modify them when we start chatting. But what I want right now, it is everybody observe what part of your body start telling you is vibrating, it is itching, it is chills, it is ringing, it is what? Because we're all different. So well, we are going to have different experience. Okay? Are we ready? The class?
Yes.
So let me share a screen and here.
Oh no.
And
Okay, cool.
You know,
can everybody see the
Mm-hmm. I can see the screen. I just can't see everybody for some reason. It's not letting me.
no, well, when I'm sharing, it comes very small, the video of everybody. But if you
Mhm.
see the screen, okay. Okay, let's start. Okay, we're gonna do the meditation, this one at the end, that it's not gonna let me change it. Okay, we're gonna start working about how to release our fears and how to set up different kinds of protections. We are not gonna do the Merkaba per se, because it is a very, very long one. And I thought it is too much freaking information in one class. But we'll see. It depends on the guides too, because I do surrender to them a lot. So they're going to be taking us too. Okay. We all know that the fear, it is one of the limiting beliefs that we can have. Let's move a little bit more. It is basic. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my screen there. Okay, fear is a limiting belief that we all have. And that is going to paralyze us actually to move forward in whatever we want to do. It doesn't matter whatever we want. So we need to become aware where it started, because the majority of the fears, they started in our childhood and it's programs. Like the majority have seen the Matrix movie, right? Everybody have the Matrix? Okay. So what happened in the Matrix, I don't know, you remember that they were programs. Remember the little girl, or the Oracle, they call in the Matrix and so forth. Well, they say in there that was programs. It works exactly the same way. The fear is different programs that they were installed in our subconscious. That's what the part I call ourselves the operative system. So what happened in there, we have to accept the program, or else we are going to reject it. If someone tell you, if you go into that house, the roof is going to fall on top of you, we're going to say, that's not true. You're not accepting the program. Unless it's a house that is falling down and they tell you, like, well, maybe it is. Well, then you're accepting the program. And this is programs that they've been installing in us since we were little kids. And let me put you an example. Like my dad had this program that if you walk barefoot, you're gonna catch a cold. And I remember growing up, my dad always was mad at me before puddles was in my house, because I was always barefoot. And my dad, no, you're gonna catch a cold and so forth. And every time he took his shoes and walked barefoot, he catch a cold. And every time I walked barefoot, I didn't catch a cold because I did not accept the program. The program, it was accepted by him. So the programs, it is accepted. It's like, all the men are horrible and I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And if you accept that program, you're going to be scared of every single man. Or if you fall in love, you're going to get heartbroken. Not necessarily. That's a program. We attract something that is important that we understand about fears, that we attract what we fear. So that is going to happen all the time. And it goes through our emotions because we create our reality through our thoughts and our emotions. That's how we're creating day after day and the future and the present. And we created the past. But in the moment, something comes in our pop of our head. Oh, if I go outside, I'm going to fall down. And I accept it an emotion and we imagine I'm falling down. Before you even fall down, you will fall down. Because we're accepting that program. So when something pops in our head, not necessarily is true. And I believe we already know this. This is a reminder for everybody because we already know it. Am I agree? Okay. Okay. When we're channeling a telepathic message, it is gonna come in. It's gonna come in many expressions. Like right now, you saw it in the exercise. It's gonna come through emotions. It's gonna come through shortcuts, and or it's gonna come in like reels. I call them reels because it comes like little reels sometimes, or it comes like in photographs, or it comes in smells. It comes in like chills, letting you know, like we were talking right now. So we have to become aware that that is channeling and that doesn't have to, so like that we are aware so we don't be so afraid. That's why I mentioned it right now in this chapter again, because many people get afraid when they started hearing voices. One example, it was when I heard the first time a tree talking to me back. I was in that time in Oklahoma after a Sundance, and my brother-in-law, he's an Apache Indian, he told me after the ceremony, go and hug that tree that is over there. It was a huge, huge tree. And I went in and it's like, and put your ear in there. In the moment I put my ear in that tree, I just hear crack, 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 crack. And I just jumped, like, what the fuck, what is this? And like, put it back because I was my fear. And the fears, one way it is to confront them. And it was like, okay, I put it back and I start hearing the heart of the tree, like our heart. I start hearing the palpitations of the tree and I freak out more because I have never heard a heart of a tree actually pulsing. I did not did then the connection and have a conversation with the tree, but that was my first instinct. It was to jump in like, oh, what is going on? You know, like, because we start hearing those things. So don't become afraid when you start listening to your guides. And this is exercises that we're doing slowly. It is going to help us when we start developing more, when we start going into channeling. Okay. Now, the human wording, it can get distorted because every time we talk, even to express an emotion, we're going to give it for the conception where we understood it. If in our house, let's say, they teach you this is love, but is by the convenience of you bring me this, I love you. You give me this, I will love you. So we have the conception that love means that someone wants something from us. But that's what we understand about love. So when you're expressing love to someone, you're going to express it, but I want something from them. Because that's how we were taught when we were little. So there is a distortion in the human language. Now, when our guides are going to give us messages, we're going to give it with our own distortion because every single human being, we have a distortion. I don't care if the Dalai Lama is going to understand it in his capacity to understand certain words. Or the Chopra, I don't care what name you gave me. Because everybody, we're going to understand it in different ways. That's why a lot of the times when we're receiving the message and we give it out, using just passing the message, it can have a distortion. And we have to be aware. There's between Our ego is the one that be talking and passing the message instead of us. So that part I want to be very, very clear, because that is going to be very crucial when we start channeling. Okay? Well, and in there, it comes out our fears. So it is important we have to release the fears, because or else we're not going to be good channelers. If we are having issues with, let's say, money, that is a very common one to almost every single human being. And our guides give us an idea about how about if you're gonna do, you're gonna go and be a public speaker, you're gonna go into a stage, and they're giving us the images, the smell, the texture in it, and they're giving us the real that we're already on top of a stage in with 1,000 people, and we're like, oh my God, I cannot do that. Now you're asking me to go into a stage and actually become a public speaker with thousands of people in there, you know? Well, and you're gonna try to distort it in there because your fears are the ones talking to you. The message was clear that you're gonna go into a stage and you're gonna talk to 1,000 people. But when you pass the messages, you're gonna say, I'm not gonna do it because my fears are limiting me to actually go into a stage and talk in front of 1,000 people and teach a class or something like that. Something that it is out of our norm to do. So we're gonna distort the message that we're receiving. So that's why it's very important that we understand when we're angry, when we're in fear, when we have resentments, when we have competition or envy to someone else, because the message, it is going to come distort. We all are very special. We all have a mission why we're here. And it is different than every single human being. Our digital fingerprints are different from our siblings, from our parents, from everybody. Why we think we are going to have the same message that we're going to receive from everyone? If Archangel Michael talked to me and talked to Anna at the same time, it is going to be different messages, not necessarily the same. Like the example that Alina was giving about the tree, that she heard it and Liz heard it. I bet Liz felt she can hear the name because it's a name, but it comes to the emotion. Alina is going to have a different emotion than Liz, because we receive the message with our own things that we're passing through our own emotions that we're passing through. And that's what is the part that distort the message. And mainly it's our fears. Because if you see anger, we get angry because we have fear. When we don't understand things, that's when we have fear. If we get resentment for something, it's because we don't feel enough or something like that. And it creates fear. You observe it. If we have competition with someone, it's because we don't feel enough and we're comparing ourselves with someone, and it's fear that they're going to see us how we are. It is fear again. And if we go and envy someone, obviously we're comparing ourselves because we don't feel good enough, and in a way it's fear. It's fear of being seen, fear of being seen, and of being heard. And it can have different ABCs, like competition, envy, resentment, etc., etc., etc. Those are ABCs, but the base, it is fear. And that's what it created distortions in the human beings. And the majority of us, we were taught by many religions to be controlled by fear. Even the people that are atheists, that believe me, I know because I live with one of them for many years, that even if they never heard about anything about religion, the fears are based in religious stuff. You cannot talk to God. It will destroy the light of God if you see it. That is fear-based. And competition, you cannot talk to God like a priest would tell you when you were little. Only the priest. Why you think you're lesser than the priest? I'm not saying that the priest cannot talk to God, but why you think that you are lesser than a priest? Of course you can talk to God. Of course you can see God. You have the capability. The rest, it is programs that is up to us if we accept them or not. Like my dad walking in barefoot. If you feel really that seeing God is gonna destroy you and make you dust, that is what is gonna happen. So either way, all the truths are true, but it's gonna be different, the truth for each person, depending on how we being programmed, how we have accepted our own limitations. Okay? So I'm gonna put a small exercise that you can, if we have time, we can do it at the end, but I would like to everybody to write it down. And this is an example. Everybody, it is afraid of fear. Oh, a fear of death, I'm sorry. Everybody's everybody's afraid of death. So like, oh, I'm gonna die. And the people are, I'm not gonna do this because I might die. If I do whatever is gonna get me sick and is gonna kill me, whatever. And that's the biggest limitation that human beings have. And I just want you to everybody think about this. Okay, let's say you died. Let's imagine. Close your eyes and just imagine that we died. What would happen if you died? Think about it. Life will continue. You die, life will continue without you for the 3D. But for your energy, it will continue existing. That cannot be destroyed. Your body may go into ashes, or it can go into the dirt or whatever, your body. But your conscience is not going to stay there, buried, or in ashes. Your conscience is your energy, your soul. And that is what is going to continue living. That the story will continue. It is not the end of you. You might reincarnate, or you might choose not to reincarnate in planet Earth, or you might choose to go back to source. That is you and your higher self. But you will continue existing. Whatever you choose to reincarnate or go back to source, you will continue to exist. So what happened with that? Nothing. In reality, we didn't die. In the moment you lose your fear, that's when magic starts to happen. The fear of death, that's when magic starts to happen. I'm not saying to go and all of you go and jump into a bridge because, hey, that's dangerous, you know. I'm not gonna say that you can die or not, depending on the bridge. It is ferry bridge. That probably is not gonna happen, but you might twist your ankle. but you know what I mean. But if we stop fearing of the change, of the transformation, that's when we can create more of the transformation in our lives. But if we're stuck in a limitation and mind that change, it is harmful and we're going to get out of our comfortable zone, and that's scary. Yes, change is scary. Transforming ourselves is scary. Moving forward, sometimes it is scary. We have our free will, but we can stay where we are at, or we can move with that feeling uncomfortable forward. And then the unknown become known. Because the unknown always going to become known if we choose to experience it. So the exercise that I leave you to all of you If we have time, we do it at the end. If not, I leave it to homework for you guys. Is write at least 10 fears that you have. And when you write the fears, I want you to ask, we're going to do right now one fear for each one of you. So thinking one fear, so you can see the example and see how it's going to work, because this is the questions that we're going to ask ourselves. And I'm going to start from up to down, and I have Anna first. I'm going to stop the sharing. Okay, Anna, tell me one fear. You're in mute, my love.
How did it get muted? I didn't click it.
I click you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not so afraid of death.
No,
but-
just give me one fear.
Fear of not leaving things ready when I die.
Okay,
For my son, for instance.
okay. Let's think in that fear. Now, your fear, it is about not leaving things ready for when you died. What will happen? That fear, it is real. Do you think you're not gonna have your will ready?
Could be.
You know that you can do. I'm not trying to put paralegal in this thing, but I'm gonna go paralegal. You can write it down by your hand in a paper, and you sign it.
Right.
That is that will be valid.
But yeah, more than that, other things, but yeah.
But you don't understand. What
Mhm.
would be the worst that can happen that you don't leave a will? It's your only son. Who's gonna inherit it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that fear, it is not based in a reality. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So question yourself, because you're going to write 10 fears, if they're based in a reality. So you can overcome that fear. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Then next one is Chris.
Fear of not growing spiritually, not like leveling up.
Okay. Then if your fear it is about not continue growing spiritually, do you think that is real?
No, because we're always growing from one moment to the next. Like I know that, but I know. So just debunking it, right? Like,
Yes.
we grow from one second to the next. We're not the same as we were the second before.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that fear is not real, right?
It's not a real fear.
No, but that's one way to debunking all the
In our own
fears
head.
in our own head, to understanding them. So like that is like the fears lose the power, because we give them power to the
Yes.
fears. And in the moment we debunk them, like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, I was in fear of I don't know, a branch falling down right now in my head.
There's no tree.
Exactly, there's no tree.
Absolutely. And then when you say it out loud,
Like,
it sounds like, that's a dumb fear, like, but in your head,
yes.
it's so real, and it festers, and it's like, oh my God,
And you will attract whatever you fear.
Absolutely.
So you don't want that.
No.
So that's why it's important to debunk them.
I fear growing so much.
Because you attract that.
Yeah.
Oh, where is Christine? Oh, there is. Okay. For a moment, I lost Christine. Okay, Brenda.
Well, when you said that, you said close your eyes, I closed my eyes, and I went straight to my, I was like, what's gonna happen if I die? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna be free. I felt my soul like out and going straight to my to my family of the Arturian family. I'm like, I went straight. I felt good. I'm like, I'm free. That's how I felt. And then I started thinking, okay, what am I fear? Okay, I've always worked on my fear. I've tried to face my fears at anything. But then it came to me. Heading back home and not putting my boundaries.
That's a
That's
good
my
one.
fear. Those are my fear right there, that I do not put boundaries with my kids. I love my grandkids so much and I can't say no. So
Okay, let's go there. You have, just to be clear in our heads, you have fear to put in boundaries to your kids.
well, my grandkid, well, yeah, my kids, because as soon as I see my grandkids, my heart melts.
Okay. So again, where you have fear of not putting boundaries to your grandkids. Why is that fear? This is from a base with reality.
I don't know. Well, actually, it's more, I think I love my grandkids so much. I can't say no to, I think it's not my grandkids, it's more to my own 3 kids saying no to them.
That's why I said your kids, because at the end it's them, it's your kids, because they're taking it because you say, yeah, bring me your kids. That's why I said your kids.
Yes,
Okay.
I can't say no to my 3 kids.
Why? It's based on reality, or is an attitude that your mom had to her grandkids, and it's just a program that you're following the program.
You know what? I'm following the program because the program where my mom told me, you had your kids, they're your responsibilities, you take care of them, you don't bring them to me. So I felt like I didn't want to be like my mom. So I'm like, I don't want to be like my mom. I want to help my kids, because there was times that I needed my mom to watch my kids. I needed her to help me out because I was working this and that, and she was never there. I wanted to be the mom that my kids could count on me. That's is that program?
Because
Or
you
I
did not want it,
program?
because you did not want it to become like your mom, and that was your fear, not becoming like your mom. So
Yes.
you push your boundaries, they're not there.
Oh, okay.
And you see if then it's real, that fear, because you're not going to be your mom.
No, I don't want, yeah, I did,
not- that is
everything
not
that my
gonna
mom
happen.
did, I made sure in my mind, now that you're saying that, I did not want to be exactly like my mom. I want to be that loving, grandmother loving mom that I wanted my kids to love.
But you're not learning, you're not respecting yourself or teaching it, because boundary means I'm telling other people how I want to be treated. That's what it means.
Yes.
Like, oh, you cannot yell at me. Like, no, you can't. Or you cannot beat me. No, you can't. That's a boundary that you're putting.
Okay.
So I want you to go deeper in that one. In fact,
Yeah, I need
because
to- I
there's
need to-
there's a deeper thing that work that you have to do.
Yeah, I'm already
Because
burping.
we're just right now getting just the top of that.
All right,
But carve it a little bit more, go more deeper in that,
I will.
because you're not your mom.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Just ask yourself in those questions, if this is reality, just like right now we're working with the fears, to dig deeper.
Okay.
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 Alina.
Thank-
I don't know, I'm thinking, and my brain's everywhere. At first I was gonna say I don't have a fear, but that's not true. Like, I don't have a fear to share. And I have fears, obviously. I think that's part of like
Life.
living in this body. It is, yeah. I'm not afraid. When I had the same experience Brenda did, when you're like, what if you die? I'm like, relief. I felt relief and joy. Like, just like, because I know that there's something else. And for me, it meant even more because I know that this time around is my last time for a while to coming onto earth as a being, a human being.
Then
I will go into being something else, but not on this earth.
Well, then your fear, can we call it like this? It is being reborn as human in this planet Earth?
No, because I'm not afraid of that either.
Okay,
I think for fear, you know what I have a fear of that's real? I know I have a fear of not being able to love myself
okay,
fully.
that's a
That's
good.
a real fear. Yeah.
Okay, why do you got to that fear?
I have that fear because obviously it's a learned thing. And I don't want that to be instilled. I don't want to pass that on to my daughter. I want her to be able to see her mom in a place of full acceptance and love for herself.
Well, now did you know it is a learned behavior that you have that fear about loving yourself?
Hmm.
So do you think it is real? Do you think it is impossible that you cannot love yourself?
No, absolutely no. No, I'm sure it's practice like anything else.
But
It's
you see
practice.
how that
It's
fear,
doable.
but you
Yeah.
can see how that fear just start melting
Crumble away. Hmm.
because it is not real,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
Like that, you're gonna be working with the 10 fears because I want you to observe it and you have to dig deeper because that fear is gonna show you it's just a point of the iceberg. Sometimes the fear have another fear underneath, actually more deeper
Hmm.
than the point of the iceberg. And if you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, you're gonna get to the core fear. And the core fear, it is the one that is stopping you, is limiting you. And that's the one that we wanna get to it. Okay?
Mhm.
Listy,
Okay, so we're talking about our fears. I got kicked out. I don't know if anybody noticed.
yes, for a moment I lost you. It was your internet. It's just still your internet. She froze.
Yeah. So I didn't get to write everything down. I know it's messing up a lot today. I don't know why.
Don't
Yeah,
worry, you can
it's
see
being
everything
strange.
on.
I can see my screen. Okay. So one of my fears, I was thinking about it as Alina was talking. Well, I was listening to her, but for a split second I was thinking, what am I going to say next? Since I jumped back in and I burped a little bit. And so I think it has to do, I know that it's just expressing it. See, I think that's one of it, is like not fully being able to express myself fully to where people are going to understand me. I guess it's just like always being misunderstood, a fear of always being misunderstood, or a fear of my communication skills aren't that great and people are going to take it the wrong way, or I'm just never going to, my communication skills may not ever get good enough to where I may not ever keep the people that I want in my life, like that aren't my family, like soul family people. Like I'm just never going to get to that point to where I can communicate well. And it sounds stupid when I say it out loud, but that's what I think.
One, I wanted to mention this. You saw how you polish your fear?
How I polished?
Yes, because you start, I'm feared to speak up, and then later on you went to misunderstood, and the people did not understand me. You saw how you were polishing your fear?
Yeah, I guess so.
Even more going more deep to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is important to start polishing it out. So like that you get the core belief that is the fear. And you now that you're even when you speak it out loud, you say, "Oh, this is not true." But you know,
Yeah.
when we start polishing, it start falling apart everything, all the dust, and you start getting to the core fear. And the core fear, when you say it out loud, do you think that is real?
No, because I know that I can't, that I know that communication is just needs to be practiced, that I just need to keep speaking and keep speaking. And it's okay if it looks a little bit weird at first, if it's a video or if it's just me having a conversation with somebody. Like,
And the people that are going to understand you, they're going to understand you. And the people that don't want to understand you, it doesn't matter how you're going to explain it to them. They're not going to understand because they are the ones closed-minded. That
yes,
doesn't
and
do anything in your explanation.
And I can feel that sometimes with other people, and I go in, I'm like, oh God, that did not work out the way I wanted it to. Or like feeling that miscommunication, that I knew what I was saying, but they took it like a different way. And I'm just,
But you're not
yeah.
responsible for that. You speak your truth, and if they if they distorted what they heard, because remember, every time we speak, we hear one thing and the other person hear another thing, and that's the distortion that goes in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
same apply when we're listening to our guides, but we're responsible of the distortion, not our guides. The guides are giving the information, but the distortion, we are responsible of that, because once we remove those fears, we're removing codes of distortions also of ourselves.
That makes sense.
How many times we speak, like you're saying, and someone that do not understand you, what you were trying to say, it is because that person, it is not open to actually to listen. You're not responsible for that, or you are.
No, I'm not. And I've had a better understanding of that this past couple of months. And so I'm more aware of it and able to work through it. And that right now, like I've said before, like I'm at that point to where I really do want to speak things and say things, and just doing it without that fear holding me back. And, I feel like the thoughts and everything, they'll still come in and I'm still going to work through it, but it's still going to get done. Like I'm still going to practice speaking my mind and how I feel about things and the direction that I want to go.
I'm going to tell you one thing, is don't practice speaking your mind. Speak your mind.
Just speak it. Yeah.
Take the practice. If someone is not going to understand you, it doesn't matter in what language, how you explain it, how you say it, because the ones that are close mind, that they do not want to understand you, it is them. It is not you. So don't practice speaking your mind. Speak your mind.
Speak your mind. Yeah. And I think speak my mind, and then my voice will get less shakier over time and less jittery over time. I think that's what I mean by practice, or like not, but just doing it. You're right. Just don't practice speaking your mind. Just speak your mind, and then everything else will follow.
No one talk about a fear that I know the majority we have to certain points in our lives. Let me just say this one, Brenda, and I go with you. It is fear of judgments of others. And that's a big one for many of us, and we have passed through that. And I can say now, in the moment I release that, I feel free. It felt so great, because I came to understand what other people think about me. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't care. Why? Because that makes me feel free, that I can be me, I can express myself. And if people understand me, great. And the people leave because they don't understand me. They were not meant to be with me. So I release it. In the moment I felt that, I remember it was in a fair in Jardín del Arte in Edinburgh, Texas, in a festival. That's when it happened. I felt like, oh my God, I feel so free, because I don't care. I don't care. In that moment, even my voice became louder. I used to speak even softer. Remember, Anna know me since a long time. Even I speak softer, and now I can speak out better because I don't care. So I'm gonna give me 2 minutes. In the meantime, please write down the 10 fears. I have to go to the bathroom, guys. So let me just, and I hope I got it right. Okay, can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom too.
Oh, great. Cristia, you're there?
She got booted out of it.
Okay, thank God it's recording. So let us see, she might have to check the replay because it's been booted and booted and booted. Okay, we're gonna be talking about protections. We need, as human beings, yes, we can have protections. We deserve it. It's our right. We want to have it. But we're going to be talking about different kinds of protections that we can go and in the next class, we're going to do even a Merkaba, where you're going to see there is a lot of steps to actually activate a Merkaba and so forth, from simple ones. That's the ones I mainly use. But the person that have more fears and start channeling, who they're going to be connecting to, I created a bunch of techniques for protections because I have encountered many of my students before. They were very afraid when they start channeling. So that's why this step is very important, because it is important that you feel secure, that you feel safe, that you feel protected. So we're gonna be talking about a sacred space that many of you already have an altar. Many of you already know what is a sacred space. And if you don't, we're gonna just, it's a very quickie one for you. This one. So, okay. Why we need a sacred space? Because we need to have a space where we're gonna be channeling, guys. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter it is next to a tree. It doesn't matter it's in the chair in the kitchen. It doesn't matter it is in your altar. It doesn't matter where it is. But like some of you already know my house, I do it in my office. That's when mainly I channel, because I have clients that they come and I'm not going to take them to my bedroom, my clients. So that's why when I'm going to channel, the majority of the time I do it in this office. I do it, it can be in this seat or it can be in that seat, but this office, oh yes, Christy. There she is. So mainly in this, mainly I do it in here because I have clients. We're talking about sacred spaces, Christy. I know you got booted out, but you can see later on the replay, and anyway, we're starting the protections. So it is important when you start channeling, you have a space where you do that. And that space, it needs to be, I'm not gonna say perfectly clean up or things like that. Whatever you consider what it is, clean up, organize. You don't have to do feng shui completely. The feng shui requires so many techniques that I used to do it and I don't do it anymore because it was a lot of work and I am not an organized woman. I am an artist completely. So I have a mess where I know where is everything. But I know here's my altar, there's my incense in there, there's my sage, I have my rocks, my quartz, my, and I can, and in the moment I do the intention that this is my sacred space, it becomes that. So that it is important. So if you're going to be doing clearings or cleanings or channeling work, always have your sacred space where you're going to do it. And if you're going to be doing it for clients, I don't recommend that you do your channeling in your room, unless you want to take your clients to your room. Or you can have two. You can have one in your room and one outside. There is no rules in this one. Okay? But it is important that you guys have that space. And why that space? Because we're going to feel safe. Because we're going to feel protected. That you know that in that place, if you say, no, I don't want to speak to this entity, this being that just present themselves, you can kick them out because you feel secure. Your energy is imbued in that space. Oh, okay. Christy, okay, you're there. And it's imbued in that space that you declare sacred. Not someone, please. You. It has to be you. Okay, whatever you choose, it is fine. There is not a right or wrong in this one. Okay. And in there, I recommend to create a sacred space, meditate in that space. Do that kind of work. So like I'm going to put an example, and I'm going to use again Anita as an example, because you have your yoga studio outside your house, and you have your house where you take your clients to do yoga, to do your Reiki and so forth. You take it to the back room.
Mhm.
So in that place, you have to create a sacred space where you have a mini altar. 1 second. 1 second. So we need to create, okay. And like I was saying about, is this one? I think so. No, it's this one. I'm sorry. So in Anna's place, because Anna have a room outside her house, I doubt that Anna is gonna be going, and she wanna do a channeling in the mornings, and before she goes to teach a yoga class, she might want to do it inside her house. So she have to choose in her house where is the place where she's gonna be doing her channeling work, or having the messages of the day, or whatever it is, when she's gonna be channeling, so she can create her space or where she's gonna be doing it. And where she's gonna be taking her clients, it can be a separate space, but in that space, declare it sacred, declare it that you can be putting some quartz or some stuff in there, where you create whatever it is sacred for you. I'm not gonna tell you exactly how, because what it is sacred for me, it might not be sacred for everybody. You want to put sage, you want to put quartz, we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Whatever it is the right way to do it. So like that, you can refuse any entity. See, Brenda, you told me before that you wanted to talk. I'm so sorry, I forgot about.
She's on mute.
You're in mute, my love.
No, that's fine. The other, no. I'm calling you because I want to ask you that, well, I do the Reiki stuff, it's in a room, right? But like right now that my family's coming over, I had to put a bed in there because, is that okay? I didn't know.
I do it all the time, Brenda.
Okay.
They're very fortunate, actually, whoever sleeps there. Like here in this space right now, my son is staying here in my
Okay.
office. He's
All
very
right, then.
fortunate that he's sleeping actually. Where is my altar? Where is my sacred stuff?
Yeah,
They might have
okay.
dreams very, very uplifting or intriguing for them, even if they don't understand it, because they are sleeping in a sacred space.
Yes, well, I've heard people come, oh, it feels so peaceful. So yeah, okay, that's why I just want to make sure that's okay, because I'm like, I don't have no more room. And that's where I do it here in my house. And la
No,
tiendita I have it.
my son right now is staying in this room.
Okay, perfect. I just want to clear that out. Thank you.
Lucky
You
for
go.
him. And even sometimes when I feel insecure, I sleep in my sacred space. I sleep here.
Oh, okay.
Not
Oh, that's
necessarily in my bed, because I feel like I need that protection, and I come here. In fact, here, when I have sleep here, my dreams are way more powerful than even in my bed.
okay. All right, then. Thank you very much. You could go ahead now.
Okay. Love is a connection of light. It is the connection that we have with the same creator that keeps us the energy, and that love, unconditional love, when we're not trying to judge someone, when we're not trying to change or modify someone, that it is unconditional love. If we say we love you, but how about you have less hair, or how about you're taller, or have, I don't know, blue eyes or whatever, that's not love, okay? Unconditional love is fully acceptance how it is. That's how our guides see us. That's how actually source see us. That's how nature, that's how your dog see you. The animals are such a best teachers of unconditional love. We can feed them late, we can sometimes spank them or whatever, or even punish them and put it in a crate, whatever, and they still love us tremendously. It doesn't matter if we put them in a crate or we don't feed them for one day, if we think so. They still love us exactly the same way. Well, when we having that love, that it doesn't matter what, that unconditional love, that is one of the things that it is actually the more powerful protection that we can have. You don't have to do mumbo jumbo to get more protections if you're feeling love. So let's start with with preparing a space that I believe all of you have already your altars, and already all of you have that. Just gonna go this very fast. You choose your space where you're gonna meditate or you're gonna work your energy. Keep your space in order where you can feel comfortable. So when I have mess in this space, I feel the energy is stuff. So I try to keep it at least the same, so I don't feel stuff, and so I can create, so I can connect or whatever it is. Even my studio, when it's messy, I cannot even paint or I cannot create. It has to be at least an organized mess. I'm not saying use feng shui because it forces us to be sometimes who we are not. And that's my thing that I have against feng shui, because it forced me to be who I am not. But if that applies for you, and if you feel comfortable doing feng shui in your space, go ahead, be my guest. I'm not saying nothing against it. It doesn't work for me.
So it's pretty much like an open, whatever you feel protected with. There's not rules or
No.
Because I know someone had told me like it's not good to have an altar in your room, and I'm like, that's my sacred space, like in my room.
I have one in my
Yeah.
room.
So it's up to each person. Like,
In fact, I have one in my room, one in my studio, meaning I have one bigger one. Sophie has one in her room. I have some stones and things like that I create like mini spaces in the living room. So like that, the whole house being elevated in a certain way. Not necessarily altar can be with all the goddess and all the things. It can be one quartz.
yeah, I get that.
You know,
But I think that people get so caught up on rules and there's
Yes.
no rules in this.
there's no rules.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember the frequency 540 up. It is gonna take also that space. You're using, you're hearing hard rock or heavy metal and so forth, and your altar. That is not in 540. Is gonna bring you down in your frequency. Or they're constructing it with those things with the motosierra, the jackhammer. It is not the frequency 540, so it's gonna bring down your energy. Okay, so sage, it is a very good one. Quartz, I'm not gonna tell you crystals. I'm not gonna tell you which ones because they're gonna call you and you're gonna know which ones. Having a notebook always, it is important with water and with a water. The water is a cleansing that many of you already know, but absorbs also whatever it is an ambient. If you're gonna start channeling, when you start channeling, have always a glass open with because it will absorb the excess of energy, not necessarily dense energy, excess of energy.
Do they do both? Because they I sometimes will sleep with water on the side of the bed.
You
It
can-
does both,
You can do both.
like dense and excessive.
Yes.
Okay.
So that water, we should not use it to drink.
That's what I was gonna ask.
You can throw it outside in your patio and things like that. And the next day, and you can change it every day.
Explains a lot.
If you feel that you've been drinking the no, don't drink it, Anna.
No, at first, when I saw I have a glass of water, I thought, like for you to drink while you're in case you get thirsty.
I've been drinking the water.
This
Me
this
too.
water,
I think we're both.
this water, when they ask you to have water when we're gonna have these classes, yes, because the water, it is a conductor
Okay.
that is conducting everything that I'm teaching you, that it is gonna be conducting and anchoring in your own body. But when you're gonna be channeling, it is different.
Oh, okay.
You can have one glass of water for you and one for the excess of energy or
Oh.
dense energy. It's 2 glasses. You don't
I
drink
have-
the other one. You just drink the one is for you.
I have a question. Like, okay, every night I put my glass of water for it to, purify whatever. It does, do I have to put 2 glasses if it's my partner's here or no? My
No.
husband?
One glass of
Doesn't-
water will be enough, or
And
one
for
cup of water,
okay.
whatever it is.
Okay.
You don't need to.
Okay.
And if
Thank-
you because I sleep with water next to my bed and like I drink it throughout the night because I get thirsty. And that's
That is-
okay.
that is
That's
okay.
not with the intention of
Yes.
absorbing the energy.
Remember, the intention is
Okay.
important. This is the glass, make the intention. This is the glass that is absorbed the energy, and this is for me.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Because I like to have water
No, I do
Okay.
too. But the intention is the difference.
is what's the difference. Okay, I got it.
And believe me, the universe knows it. The same your guides already knows it. What is the intention?
Mm.
And the same water knows it,
Yeah.
because you're sending the intention. Remember that there is these studies that they have done, this Japanese doctor, about you talk horrible things to a water, how the molecules, it was the molecules, how they deform and distort. And when you talk beautiful to a flower, to the water, it actually creates beautiful pieces of
Snowflakes. that make
Snowflakes.
beautiful- Yeah.
But
I just watched that just the other night. That
yes,
whole documentary on that.
but the intention is what it
It said
matters.
it makes all the difference. Yeah.
Okay,
And it makes sense because we're made of water, a lot of water, mostly water.
So we have to watch how we talk to ourselves,
Yes.
or
Imagine
change
if
our
that's-
chemistry.
if that do that to flowers, to water, imagine how it would change to us.
Mm.
Because when you have a flower that you're insulting it every day, every time, this flower is always have a lot of thorns and it doesn't look pretty and so forth, it would die. It would die. That flower, that plant, it would die. But if you talk it pretty and so forth, you're making it still be alive. And maybe later on, hopefully give flowers. Because I got one like that here.
It's like I feel attacked.
Okay. So, and remember, breathing. Be conscious when you're doing it. When you're creating your space, sacred space, don't forget to breathe and create the intention in you. Bring yourself into your body. You cannot create a sacred space when you're not present in your body. So I am here I am, to bring yourself present in your body. You cannot do healing work if you're not present in your body. You cannot channel if you're not present in your body. That is very important. And you have to take some breath. No one say, I'm here and here I am, but you're present in your body. You have to be breath. I say it until I feel, in fact, my heart like kind of vibrates. I am here I am. Until I feel my heart vibrates, that's when I stop.
Mhm.
Because I feel my body, how my soul is integrating into my body. For each one of us is different. Don't take this like a rule. If I don't feel my heart vibrate, I'm not doing it right. Each one of us is different. Okay. Now, envision yourself surrounded by white light when you're doing it, so you can cleanse and protect the space that you're into it. Because we need to cleanse like we cleanse our crystals. We also clean the space. You can do it through white light. This is one example. You can do it through sage. You can do it through music. You can do it. There's different ways that you can do it. Cedar or incense, whatever it works for you. And more if after having a different clients, I recommend you to always clean that space. It can be the spray of Palo Santo, whatever you have, whatever you consider cleansing, but cleanse that space between readings, go and walk, whatever. So like that, you can have that space clear for you. Okay. Okay. And ask your guides for spiritual protection. Don't be afraid. Believe me, they're eager to talk to you. They're eager to listen to you. They're listening to you even when you're not listening to yourself. They're listening to your thoughts and your emotions too. So if you tell them, this is my intention, they already know it because they already felt it, that you were saying it in your head or in your emotion. Sometimes we don't even have to speak it. They already know. Remember to be kind, like we were saying right now with Christy. Like if we're talking about just the water or a plant, how affect them, how we're talking to ourselves. That space, if you're angry, when you're going to that space, try not to yell in there, try not to fight in there. You can go there when you're angry to meditate and to center and let it all go out, to anchor yourself and root yourself and ground yourself and let it out. But try not to bring disharmony, or else you have to clean it more. You did it. It happens. It happens. We all have bad days and we're in bad moods or in our periods that I'm not, but some of you do. So you all have those moments, or a client come angry or whatever it is, clean that space, because or else you're going to be absorbing that energy. And you don't want that, even if it's your own energy, you don't want your energy when you're mad or depressed or with those things. Clean it up. And if you have to clean it 10 times a day, 10 times a day. It is basically like learning to pick up your house. If you leave the dishes in the kitchen dirty right now, and later on you eat again and leave more dishes there, and later on more dishes there, how many times you have to wash the dishes? Maybe you're washing the dishes 10 times a day or 15 times a day. It depends how many mess you do. We learn to do less mess so we can have to clean less. But when we're working with clients, if we have 10 clients, clean it between clients. Okay. And like you're cleaning your crystal, I forget sometimes, but I try to, in every full moon, to clean all my crystals. I do have a lot of crystals, to take all my crystals out and let it clean with the moon, because some of them, they're affected by the moon. Some of them are affected by the water and they can dissolve and so forth, but the moon doesn't harm them. So I recommend the moon. So, okay. And remember, do your own rituals. You don't have to go and buy a book to create your own ritual for this, to clean the space or creating the space. Because for each person works different. I can tell you a bunch of rituals that I do, but not necessarily my rituals are going to feel good or safe for you, because we're all different. It's like saying you have to sit down in the table in the right side in the first seat. Not everybody feel comfortable there. So why I'm going to sit everybody in the same place? Besides, we don't fit. But why am I going to put everybody in the same place? Everybody's different. Create your own ritual to clean. Create your own ritual to declare the sacred space when you're putting your water in that place, when you're doing all these things, because the rituals are going to be present in that moment. Okay. And I have here a statement that it will be very helpful for you all. And I have this one. It's an example. You can create your own, You don't have to do everything my statements I do. This is just an example. I declare with authority that I am, because the I am, it is the presence of source. That they are only the guides of love and light with me. And even when I feel beings that I do not resonate, that it doesn't feel good, this is what I do. I ask that my divine being be present, as well as my angels and my light, my angels, and the light of the Creator guides me and protect me. Please help me to heal, to teach, to guide me to whatever it is in the space for divine good. So be it, so be it, so be it. You can change it, modify it, however you want. This is very helpful when you're creating that space.
Something that just came to me. I kind of like went off for a minute and it just came to me and I feel like I should share it, is just like an altar or a sacred space is cared for and prepared. We are the sacred space of our own selves. And that is just as important, if not more so.
Yes, because we are the sacred beings, that we don't consider ourselves sacred.
Because you can have a beautiful altar with all the most beautiful things. And if you're neglecting your own sacred space within you.
Like one time I met a lady that asked me for a mural in her yoga studio. And I thought, oh, this lady do yoga, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And she asked me for a Ganesha, and she asked me for some wording and so forth to do a mural in there, and I painted. And she got into the studio of yoga. This is saying what you're saying. And I asked her, hey, do you do yoga? He's like, no. Then why you have the yoga studio in there? I have the yoga teacher.
No.
Oh, so do you meditate here? Like, no. I have the yoga teacher. And the lady later on, she was horrible. She was yelling at me, yelling at everybody, her employee, she was there and so forth. And it's like, why she wants to have a yoga studio with a Ganesha? It looks very nice, right? And all this wording, the humanities and very spiritual. But it was just a facade for the people to see her, how spiritual she is.
Mhm.
In reality, she was not spiritual at all. She was a horrible human being, but she had a nice facade. So let's not do that to ourselves. Let's honor ourselves and our space. But our space, not necessarily, it is the space that we create, is ourselves. That is important. Let's not have that facade. We're almost there, guys. Okay. This is another protection that I used to do. I used to use a lot of protections at the beginning because I was scared. Now I only use the love one. I use the clear space and the beings and light. But more that you grow, you feel more secure in yourself. And you feel more secure. You
Question,
don't need that many protections. I'm sorry, what?
can I just take a picture instead of writing it? Do you mind if I take a picture?
Yes, of course.
Okay. That'd be easier for me.
And you're receiving the videos and the slides, right?
I have not checked,
It's
but I
on the
will.
website. It's on the page.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's on Facebook, right? Okay.
In Facebook and also in Kajabi, Kathleen, my VA, she also say if you have any questions for the videos and the replays and so forth, just to ask her, and she will be gladly to put it. She put it in the group. She will gladly
Thank you very
tell
much.
you have any problems with it. This is an easy one that I showed my daughter, and you can show this one to kids. It is great, and to every single human being that is scared. Yes. We are creating energy. and we create in here, and you start playing with that energy, you can feel it in your hands. And now we're going to start creating, and you can even, if you entrecierra, do you close your eyes, between closing your eyes and opening a little bit, you can see the energy in there. And let's create a ball of energy. And you feel like stretching it, like you have rubber bands. Oh, I can see it very clearly in there. And that's how you start seeing also energy, guys. You can practice with that. You can see energy. And now we're gonna make bigger that ball. You can put it in yourself, from your head to your feet, as a protection or healing, whatever intention you want. Healing, protection, or clearing. And you can put it also on top of the room or on top of the house. I can put it on top of the area where I live. I call the city of Mecca. I can put it on top of Rio Grande Valley when we have hurricanes and things like that. I usually use this one. So we don't hit us so hard, the hailstorms and things like that. And sometimes the storm stops, believe me. So you can use that one. You're feeling noises or someone is trying to break in, that it had happened. I always put that one. No one has, we just had an incident with one dude that he was outside and he ran. No one has literally breaking in. Put the protections, I put protections all the
I have
time.
I think you had mentioned in the first video when you put protections in other houses, don't you need permission, or I'm getting it wrong?
When you're doing it, I don't do it to the house per se of someone. I put it in the city,
Okay,
in the city, in the state, in the country, in the continent, or in the planet.
all right.
But
Okay.
I don't put it in the house of someone per se unless they ask me directly, the owner of the house.
Okay.
So not like a mom, like you put it in my son's house. No, I can't.
That's what I was trying to do. I've done it before. So you know. Okay.
But you can put it in the city, you can put it in the town or things like that. That you can do. I
Okay.
can put it in the whole planet. You can increase it to the universe. Your limitation is yourself. So this can go as big as you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, this is a very, very helpful one. And this one I still use it. Now, there's another protection option 3 that I use. Give love and light to an entity. When you're feeling, this is important, guys, because as soon as you start channeling more and practicing more, there is like saying you have an open sign here, open to channeling, and zoom, all the beings are gonna come. Dead people, entity of every single level, dimensions, and so forth. Is the sign is open. In fact, it's already open since you are channeling or since you're a medium, because we're psychics. So guess what? The sign is already on. Well, at least let's put protections for it, because we don't want to talk with everybody. No, we don't. We want to have standards, right? You're not going to invite everybody. Yes, come to my house, whoever. We have standards and protection and boundaries. This is helpful for it. So when you don't like the energy of a being that is there, send them. Don't panic. You don't have to bring the sage. You could if you want to, but you don't have to panic. If you send the love to that being that I have, believe me, I have removed horrible entities that have come because they cannot stand love. It is a lower vibration being, they cannot stand love. So they happen 2 things with those beings. If they stay, they have to transform to love, or they leave immediately because they cannot stand it. Some of them, they have convert. I'm not going to be talking about Dracos much in this one, but just one example, I had an encounter with a Draco in my house. And how I transform it, it was through love. I imagined that my heart, I even saw it my heart open, my heart chakra open, and send him love. And that being did not want to convert to the light. He just left.
What did you say? What type of being was it?
A Draco.
What is that?
Draco is a dense entity. Well, no, it's not an entity. It's actually galactic, but it don't have great intentions for the planet. If the planet, for the humans, if the humans, they feed from our fears, from our that we're going to be talking more about that later on. But they feed themselves from our fears, from our dark emotions, from our depressions. So they want you like that because they're feeding themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the one they instigate the ego about fears and so forth. So like that, we're feeding ground for them.
Okay.
Are some of those beings in human form?
They are the Dracos are shapeshifters.
Mm.
They don't have good intentions for humans.
I have a question. As like for instance, we're taking this channeling class and we're getting more knowledge and we're opening up and we're expanding. And you said something like there's a sign, is that why a lot of because sometimes I was talking with a friend about this yesterday or the day before yesterday. I feel like it's like I'm being attacked because I'm trying to become I'm trying to expand.
Since even before the class, you were already a psychic, right? Since you were already a psychic, you already have the sign up open.
Okay.
Since the moment, just like you're trying to feel the light and the energies, that's when it started.
Yes.
And since then, that's when the energies start coming. Hey, that's attractive. That light's attractive. Let me go and check it out.
Because
Good and bad.
okay, because yesterday in meditation, there was this video that was really impactful, and I think Alina shared it on the chat. But when they put that video, and just as I was really tuning into what it was saying, and I was hitting right here, it stopped. I don't think that's ever happened at Infinite. It wouldn't play. And then the first thing that I felt was
we've been attacked.
Yeah, something is trying to attack the great, what we're trying to do.
I am not gonna deny it, guys, that sometimes there's loss of the universe. And the law of balance, it says, as it grows the light, it has to grow also the dark, because it's a law of balance.
Okay.
More that we're growing spiritually, we're going to have also experience equally in the other side.
Oh, that makes sense.
Even if you're not taking this class, but you want to be more spiritual, more this, you're going to have the spirit, you're going to have the balance in the other side.
Because I feel like that, even when I was younger and I was trying to get into church and and that's a form of spirituality. I knew I was trying to connect with God, and I felt attacked. And one time it was really interesting. I was a little girl and I seen on the edge of my bed a good entity and a bad entity fighting at the edge of the bed. And I was I was trying to get into church. I was maybe 9 years old or something. And it was just so interesting.
I'm not saying this for you fear at all, but that's why we were talking about protections.
Very important to protect.
Okay.
Yeah.
The more that you grow in your personal security and in your shields, because even people that get to know me in their in the spiritual community say, oh, you have a bunch of protections. Yes, I carry them all the time. I always put in my protections, but not necessarily with this. Sometimes it is just unconditional love. Not necessarily you have to do, like I mentioned at the beginning, mumbo jumbo, put a merkab and put this and put that and carry this and carry that. Yes, I do carry my quartz all the time, and it's a black obsidian because that helps for protection. Because I know I can get more attack because I work in this field, that's why the doctor carry the things to hear the heart, because he's gonna need it. We need, in a way, some something that makes us feel secure with ourselves. And slowly you're going to need less and less and less at the same time. More than you feel secure, but it is, and more than we know, I can feel an entity when it comes into the room.
Mhm.
I can, or we can feel when the energy shift in a place immediately. So that's when you know when you're going to use your protections. But in the moment you guys decided to become Reikis, you're working with energy. Not necessarily the class of channeling. When you're working with energy, it has to be the balance. It is a law of the universe. I did not put this law. This law is way older than I am. And believe me, I'm pretty old, not in human years in this timeline, from since I was created. Let's put it like that. Okay.
Okay, I have a question. So what is the heaviness that I feel like right now that I'm listening to you, or when I'm trying to listen, I feel heaviness? What does that mean? Is that the density, or what does that mean? Or is it an identity or something?
When we're growing, like I mentioned earlier, when we're growing, at the same time is growing the other side.
Okay.
It has to be a balance. That's the law. So many times, because you're learning how to connect yourself, how to feel like that, some entities can be like, let me come and bring you down. Put an incense to the energy. Send them love. They're more than that.
Okay.
So like that, you're in a way you're pushing them out of your field.
Okay. Okay. Like, cause right now I feel a lot of dense, like energy, heavy, and not heavy. It's like dense.
Yes.
They're not blocking me, right? It's not that. It's just
Put an incense.
incense. Okay.
Having the water next to it, then you're not gonna drink to absorb the energy. That helps, But that one you don't drink it. You drink the one that you have for drinking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because more that we're growing, at the same time, the other one, it has to be, it is a balance. It is a law.
It makes sense now. It makes sense. And it's all new to me. So yeah, it makes sense now. Why? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then okay, we talk about the love. That's the love is the one I use more. Now I have used this one too. Laughing. Fucking folks.
It scared me.
Okay, laughter. Laughter is a big one. I have encountered this one with other beings because sometimes I do an exorcisms, guys. Sometimes I'm working with heavy energy that you're trying to clear and remove from people and so forth. And sometimes they stay here, it's like, you're here, let me remove you. And one that it works like a charm all the freaking time. And they're trying to scare you. Because if they scare you, they can feed from you. And they're going to be attached to you. Laughing. Laugh about them. They cannot stand it. It's like a repellent for mosquitoes. These are very simple ones that you don't have to do so many mumbo jumbo. But in a moment, even if you're scared, you're not going to show that to them. I'm not saying we're not humans. We're going to get scared once in a while. The energy, you can feel it like, oh gosh, this is heavy. Okay, laugh, send them love, send them light. It works like a charm. But laughing is a strong one. They cannot stand laugh. They cannot stand happiness. They're very different beings, the Dracos, than humans. And I know you're scared. I can feel you. Talk to me. You're fine? You're in mute, so I cannot hear you.
No, I muted it when my dog started barking. No, I'm not scared. I started trying to imagine like what would scare me. And I tried picturing like this scary kind of alien looking monster coming in and laughing at it. That's all.
That's one way to attract them. Don't do that.
Okay.
Yes. Don't do that one.
You know, so the other night, I want to share this. The other night, I couldn't sleep. I woke up at witch's hour, like our peak hour, 3 o'clock on the dot. And I woke up because was sleeping towards, there's a window here. I don't know if you can see it right there. It's closed, right? And there's no light outside, but I saw it clear as day. I had just turned around to like fix myself on this side, and it walked by the window, and I could have sworn it was someone
Outside the window?
outside the window. Like it was right outside the window. Like it just like walked, and I could see it because like the light filtered through, like as it walked.
Mhm.
I didn't hear anything. And I felt at that moment like a child, like when I used to get scared when I was little. It's been a long time. And I even got up. So I even text Liz. I was like, sister, like, and she didn't answer. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, come on. So I got up and I looked around, but and it made sense when I looked around. I thought, okay, it's something they can't hear or see because Simba would hear, because he even hears me when I open the door, or move around. But I guess the question I'm asking is, when we are going through something huge, as we're open, because we are open and we're all mediums and
When
channelers in our own right, when we are going through something huge, how can I distinguish, like, is my gut telling me to be scared for a reason, or am I scared because I should be scared? Like, does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
how can I distinguish? Like, because I knew instantly when I came back to the room, I was like,
that's a great question. Let me answer that one.
okay.
When we're sad,
Mhm.
when we're mad,
Mhm.
or even depressed, or even sick,
Mhm.
or even sick, or sick, we open the door to any of these beings. Any of these beings. So,
Mhm.
and fear, of course. Fear
Mhm.
fear attracts those things.
Mhm.
So in the
But I
moment,
wasn't scared till that moment.
yes, because you felt
Okay.
the energy, but
Mhm.
you've been sad, and
Yes.
that attracted.
And yeah, I even
that,
had I haven't had one. I can't even remember. It's not a nightmare. It's the worst. It's worse than that. What is it? Night terror? A night terror? I was stuck in a dream, I
sometimes,
couldn't get up.
well, let me answer first that one, and then we talk about when we're attacking astral travel, because that's a different ball.
Okay.
So in this one, so not necessarily you have to be scared, because believe, yes, you can feel scared because you're human. We're human. All of
Right.
us. We're gonna feel those emotions. We're gonna feel the sadness. We're gonna feel the anger. We're gonna feel scared. We're gonna feel all the emotions, because that's what we chose to be in this plane, to be human. So that is normal to feel, but not necessarily is what are you gonna do about it. That is your choice, because problems are always going to exist. How we react to the problems or the situations, that is completely our choice. Even if you're in the fifth dimension, already living in the fifth dimension, things is going to happen. How we react to those problems, it is how it's going to be the difference. These beings are going to pick on you. More than you raise your vibration, they are not going to see you. But if your vibration is low, they can see you.
I didn't think they saw me. I don't even, or he saw me, or it saw me, because it walked by, but I think it could sense me. Like it could feel my sadness.
But when you raise your vibration, in that moment, it will not see you. anymore.
I know. As soon as I came back, I'm like, I shut it. I'm like, no, I'm protected and I'm loved.
Exactly. That's exactly what exactly you should have to have, because that's the good reaction that you can have. If you get scared, guess what? Now you put it aside, you connect it and you plug it on and you said, open, you get scared.
Mhm.
Because you were like, no, let me check what is this and so forth, and I am protected, I'm loved. You turn off the plug from the open side.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
in the moment that you actually send them, if you, let's say you encounter them,
Mhm.
because you might feel it or you might hear it, and it's a sensation that you know how it feels good or not. It's like when you're going to any place and you meet someone and it just do not resonate with you.
Mhm.
You just
Mhm.
feel off that person. And we all can encounter people like that.
Mhm.
You in a way you're gonna say something, you know what? I'm just gonna send them love.
Mhm.
But unconditional love without judging, or else it is conditional, it is not love.
Mhm.
And if you cannot do that in that moment because your judgments or whatever it is, you're in a state of emotional, create a ball of energy, laugh, even if you're peeing yourself of being scared, laugh, and things like that. So like that being can go away. And you feel that person, like you don't like a person that comes by to you because the energy, whatever, you can feel also the entity when it comes. Like you're giving your back to your door and someone come into the door, you know exactly who it came even before you turn around and actually look at it,
Mhm.
because you sense the energy of that person. The same applies for these beings. You know who they are. You can sense, I like that energy or I don't like this energy. You might not know their name yet. You will, you want to, but not necessarily you have to talk to them or you can kick them out. Remember that we all human beings were born with our free will. They cannot talk to us if we don't want to. Even it's the same God, even the same source. If we don't want to talk to source, it cannot talk to us because we are that powerful. We have our free will. That is your choice to talk to the angel or not. That's your free will. If you get scared, you can kick out our angel. I have kicked out from this space, but they wanted to give me a message, and I freaked out because the energy was so huge, so big that I freaked out and I kicked him out. Later on, I came to the oh, I was thought was not trying to help me. I was like, what do I do? I was like, come back. It took several months, so he wanted to come back and give me the message. I believe he wanted to. I actually put myself together when I feel that kind of energy that is very, very powerful to be open up, because I was not ready in that moment to feel that. I was peeing, of course, myself, and I kicked him out. And he left because we have the free will. And in that moment, I did not knew he was taught. And later on, oh my God, I was taught. You know, and that can be when it's beings that they are very, very, very powerful from the light. Not necessarily has to be from other thing. I'm talking about they're connected to source.
Mhm.
Even the windows can temblar. ¿Cómo se llama?
Like it's called resonate. It
Yes,
resonates off of it.
yes,
Trembling,
not, yes, but not necessarily they're here to harm us. They're here to help us, or to give us a message or show us something or whatever, or give us an activation or whatever it is. But because we're not used to, we can get scared.
Mhm.
And if you're not feeling you're ready, you can tell them, you know what, I'm not ready right now. Please get out of my field. You can.
Yeah.
Your choice is your free will. You don't have to talk with whoever you don't want. That's your free will. And the last slide. Okay. That's what I was talking about. That you're a sovereign being. Remember that you can declare before any entity that will not make you feel comfortable, since you always decide if you want to channel or not, like I was just saying. The other one is remember the words I am, because the I am, you're bringing the presence of source in you. Just I am. That's why there's many affirmations that I am enough, I am powerful, I'm in love, or whatever. But you can use the same I am the only presence of light in this room. And I'm declaring it with security. And believe me, whatever entity that is lower vibration, with those words will run fast. When you're doing a clearing of a house or a room and those things, the I am or I command, like the other one I have there, it is very powerful. And that entities of that people, whatever, they run. So you can use that one for clearing the spaces. For when I'm doing exorcisms, I use those very frequently because I have to be in command, even if I'm peeing myself. I do not show it.
See, Chris, it was your fault I peed myself. I'm just kidding. Inside joke.
So we would say, I am only sacred. What would we be saying?
Well, you can use the I am. I just use the I am with examples that there's affirmations already that
Like I am peace, I am love, and I
let's
command.
say you find but when we're channeling and you encounter a being that you do not like the frequency for any reason, maybe it's too powerful, maybe it's too dark, whatever it is, whatever reason, let's not put judgment in that, but you don't feel comfortable with it, you're gonna say, I am the only being of light,
I am the
or I
only-
am love, and anything in the presence around me has to be with that same frequency of love.
or start laughing my ass off. Okay, got
Yes.
it. Thank
Okay. So the homework, it is working the fears, guys, the 10 fears. Don't forget the other one, to connect to any being. Okay.
Working with the 10 fears and connecting with the being.
Yes, with a
I
tree,
got
with a whatever quartz, whatever you would desire,
Or the pets.
or the pets.
Did you say
Okay.
farts?
If you want to, you can too.
What did you say parks? I think it was parks, but I heard farts. I'm sorry.
with quartz,
Quarks. Okay, thank you. I was like,
If you want to-
okay.
You want to, you can too.
Okay.
No, thank
So
you. No,
you
thank
want
you.
us to work with quartz now, right? I didn't get that message. You want us to work with quartz or keep on working with a tree or whatever we have, or no?
Whatever you have, whatever is available for you, whatever is called to you, because that is
Okay.
important that you start listening. Yo, you should connect to this stone, or you should connect to that flower, or whatever you're called to, that's the right thing.
Okay, still work with that and do our 10 fears.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions, guys, before we close down?
Do we have to have all 10?
Oh, we have more than 10 usually. I just put you a
Oh,
little.
we do. Oh my gosh.
As human
Did you-
beings, we have more than 10.
Did you list them in the PowerPoint? I don't know if I missed it when I was trying to get in and out.
Oh, it is to write down 10. Remember, we work with your fears.
Oh, okay.
And those are the fears that I'm talking about.
Oh,
Work-
so write down our own 10.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
And debunk them. And debunk them.
Okay. Got it.
And the what? What you said at the end? The what?
Debunk them. Make it this is real.
Debunk them. Yeah,
Like figure
who
them
does
out,
it- like
or like decipher
get to
them.
the root. Get to the root, right? Like, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I know where they're coming from anyway. Okay, thank you. Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, and every Tuesday, guys, we're doing a meditation here. It's open at 7:00 p.m. So you're more than welcome to come. And it looks like in Fridays, we're gonna go to yoga with Anna. You're welcome
5
to
o'clock.
5
5
o'clock.
I have a
I'm glad that you
question.
remind me.
I have a question. Can we do can I join the meditation through Zoom or no?
Yes, in fact, Andrea, one of my social media VA, she did a post because I told her that we were doing it, and she put it that we're going to be doing that live from
Yeah.
Facebook. So
Okay,
I might put my phone and so we can do it live.
Yes, so I would love to be there.
I did it this Tuesday and it was so amazing. And I did want to share. Can I share about
Let me just turn
remember
off the recording.